So these Claude AI hacks are so powerful that using them honestly feels illegal. And by the end of this video, you're gonna have every single one of them. And let me show you why that's not an exaggeration. A guy named Matthew Gallagher started a company with just $20,000 and a laptop. He had no team and basically nothing behind him, just him and AI. And that company did $401 million in its first damn year and had a $1 billion valuation. And his total headcount at the end of it was 2 people. He did the work that normally takes an entire company full of people, and he pulled it off by getting AI to handle damn near all of it. And one of the tools he leaned on was Claude. Now, you may not want to build a $1 billion company, and that's totally fine, but imagine what that level of productivity does for your actual work, your business, the side project that's been sitting untouched for months, or anything else that you want to use it on. And that's what these hacks unlock. And I'm going to show you the fundamentals, the most important stuff, like how to talk to Claude with your voice, organize entire projects, plug it into your email and calendar, and get it doing real work while you go do something else. And we're going to be starting with stuff that you can set up in 30 seconds and ending with features that genuinely feel like cheating. So stick around until the end because I've got some bonus hacks that most people have no idea exists. Now, if you appreciate me making this type of content and you want to see more of it in the future, then let me know by gently cheersing that like button, and let's jump into it right now. Okay, so we're going to start with the simplest stuff, but this is actually some of the most important stuff as well, and that is settings that you can change right now that instantly make Claude better. So let's start with styles. Most people let Claude talk to them in the same flat, robotic, default voice, and you simply do not have to do this, right? You can make it blunt. You can make it stop being so polite. You can make it actually push back on your ideas if you want. But the second you make Claude talk to you the way that it needs to, it's gonna stop seeming like a robot. It's gonna start giving you what you want, right? So if you wanted to feel like a teammate, it's gonna feel like that. So you go to settings, general, and then you can select what best describes your work. You can go to select, and you wanna select something that best describes your work. So in our case, like marketing is probably the best descriptor. And then you can type in instructions for Claude. And the prompt we're gonna use is be direct and blunt with me, skip the hedging. If my idea has a hole in it, tell me straight. Now, by the way, I'm gonna show it on the screen, but when you're doing this, it might be slightly different on your screen. And that's because Claude split tests different settings and different people have access to different levels of Claude, but it should be relatively similar. So if you want that across all of your different chats, you can paste that same exact thing in there. And then additionally, you can select what best describes your work, and you can select something like marketing. You know, obviously, if you're in finance, do finance. If you're in engineering, do that, et cetera, et cetera. All right, next, let's talk about personal preferences. And that's actually our hack number 2, which is to give Claude a little bit of context about who you are. Now, remember, that's going to be across every single chat. But what you can do is you can put your role, what you're working on, how you like your answers, and it's going to remember that across everything. So a tiny bit of context is the difference between a generic answer and one that feels like it's written for you. And so for me, I'm going to say I run an online business and a YouTube channel, and I prefer short, direct answers with a clear next step. So I'm going to put that in there as well. All right, so the next one is going to be memory. So Claude can also remember things about you, your projects, the way you like things done, and you are in full control. So open it up, see that everything's saved, and then delete anything that's off. So click the name initial on the bottom left, then settings, then open the memory section, and then click to view everything Claude has saved about you, and hit the delete icon next to anything you want gone, or just go ahead and edit it. So let's just say that I want to update it on how much total revenue I've helped people in my community make, which now it's over $100 million. That's something that I can put in here. And when I'm making my content, it'll remember that and it'll put it into it automatically. So that's something I'm putting in here. Quick break. I'm going to be doing a live training on treating YouTube like a business. This is going to work for people who have online businesses, in-person businesses, and people who just want to treat YouTube like a business from the beginning. It is a completely free training, no strings attached. In fact, I'm giving away even more bonuses at the training. Just as an example, I'm going to be giving away my niche validator. And this is going to be available for both Claude as well as ChatGPT, which is a super valuable piece of software where you can finally figure out what the best niche for you is. So do not miss out on this training. Make sure you sign up for it down in the description and the pinned comment below, because you only get it if you join the training. So if you don't join now, you might miss it. But that being said, in the workshop, you'll get to meet me. You'll get to ask me questions directly. So I look forward to meeting you. So click the link in the description and the pinned comment below. Make sure you put it on your calendar. And if for whatever reason you missed out on it, you weren't able to attend, make sure you still click that link, because we might be having workshops in the future as well, and you'll be the first to know about it. So yeah,
Hope to see you there. And now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
So everything we went over was relatively simple, but let's talk about tier 2, and that is talk to it and feed it. So this one changed how I use Claude more than almost anything. You can just talk to it, literally out loud, and it talks back. Now it can literally talk back in voice mode if you want. I don't like that. I like it to just type back to me and do it quickly. With that being said, once in a while, if I'm going on a walk or something like that, I do like for it to actually talk back to me. So the fastest way to use AI isn't typing, it's literally just talking, the same way that you'd talk to a smart friend. So directions on how to do this: open the Claude app on your phone and then open any chat, right? Then tap the waveform icon on the right side of the message bar, start talking, and then tap once to pause, and then tap again to resume. And to change the voice, just tap the voice name and pick whichever one you like the most. Okay, so hack number 5 is the vision. And this is where you can just point and ask. So Claude can also look at a photo and tell you what's going on. So you can snap a weird dashboard light, a label that you can't read, a chart that you don't get, and just ask it. Now, quick note with this is it reads images, but it doesn't generate them, right? So use this to understand stuff in the real world. So the way to do this is in the chat, tap the plus or camera icon next to the message box, choose take a photo or upload one from your library, then snap the photo of whatever you want explained, then type the question underneath and send. For instance, what is this warning light on my dashboard and is it safe to keep driving? All right, hack 6 is you can drop in almost any file, a PDF, a screenshot, a 40-page contract, and have Claude break it down in seconds. So this is one of the most unbelievably useful hacks. So you never have to read a boring 40-page document again. You can upload it and ask the 3 questions that you actually care about. So here's how to do this one. Click the plus paperclip in the message box. Click upload from computer and then pick your PDF, your spreadsheet, or your image. Wait for the file chip to appear under the box, and then type your question and send. So here's a prompt that you could type, for instance. Here's a 38-page report. Pull out the 5 things that I actually need to know in plain English. Okay, so next is hack number 7. And here's one that makes you smarter, not lazier. You can turn Claude into a patient tutor on any topic at any level. And the best part is you can tell it to quiz you instead of just handing you the answer. So a lot of people are quietly outsourcing their thinking to AI. You can use this to actually learn and you will pull ahead. So the way to do this is to open a chat. This is optional, but you can save it as a custom style named tutor. So this is the one that you can click on next time. Then paste the prompt below and of course swap in whatever your own topic is. So it's gonna explain it to you like you're in 10th grade, and this is gonna quiz you on it. And this is a great way of learning any subject. I can't tell you how many things I have learned quickly and efficiently using Claude AI. All right, next is tier 3. And these are gonna be ones that help you organize and produce. Now we're gonna be talking about the real power tools, right? A project is a dedicated folder and a dedicated brain for one thing that you're working on. You drop in all the files and instructions once, then every chat inside already knows everything. So there's no re-explaining. So here's how you do it. In the left sidebar, click projects, then new project on the top right. Name it, add a short description, and click create project. Click add content, the knowledge panel, and then upload your files. Then click set instructions and tell Claude how to behave for this project. Then click new chat inside the project and it now uses all of it automatically. So pick the one thing you work on most and make it a project today and then dump every relevant file there. All right, hack number 9 is artifacts. And this is something that you can use to build right inside of Claude. So this is where Claude stops being a chat box and it becomes a place where you can actually build things. So step 1, in any chat, ask Claude to make something and add, put it in an artifact. The artifact opens in the panel on the right. Then you can edit directly in the panel or type a follow-up to change it. Then you can click the version history arrow at the top of the artifact to step back. So a prompt here, for instance, is write a 1-page welcome email for new customers and put it in the artifact so that I can edit it. And that's a cool thing as well. You can literally edit it right in the artifact. Now, of course, you can even do pretty advanced stuff here. You can make video games inside of the artifact. But if you want to do really advanced stuff, you probably want to go to Claude Code. More on that later. All right, hack 10 is to turn raw data into charts. Okay, we have done some of the coolest stuff with this. So I run an 8-figure business and we get tens of thousands of leads every month. We do like 1,000 sales calls per month of people who want us to help them with their YouTube, and we're searching for people to partner with. We uploaded all of our sales calls into Claude AI and had it tell us all of the relevant information about the people that are trying to work with us. And it got insanely detailed with this. How old the people are, whether they're married or not, what their religion is, whether they have kids or not, what kind of industries they're in, etc., etc. This is something that would have taken an entire team of people like a month to do on their own. But Claude was able to do it in a fraction of the time. But then Claude is going to turn it into a spreadsheet and your eyes might start to glaze over a little bit, right? So this one's for you if your eyes glaze over whenever you stare at a spreadsheet. You can upload a CSV or a spreadsheet and then ask Claude to analyze it and build you charts that show you the trends. So here's how to do that. So click the plus button and then upload your CSV or spreadsheet. Then type your request for charts and send, and then ask follow-ups to change the chart type or filter the data. And the prompt type here is to analyze this sales data and give me charts showing my best months and my worst months. Okay, so hack number 11 is to switch models on purpose. So most people don't realize that Claude has different models under the hood, and picking the right one is a quiet superpower. So a powerful one for really hard problems, and then a fast one for everyday stuff. See, if you use the most recent Claude model, it's probably gonna think for a long time. And if it's a simple question, you're gonna be wasting a lot of time. So in a chat, pick the model name near the message box, then pick the most powerful model for hard problems, the fast one for daily work, and a quick one for snappy answers. And then your pick gets to stick for that chat, and you can switch anytime. I know this is a pretty basic one, but a lot of people don't do this, and they just waste a massive amount of time staring at their screen doing nothing. And that brings us to hack number 12, which is if you have a genuinely hard problem, there's a setting that tells Claude to slow down and reason it out step by step before answering. So you can use this for big decisions as well as the tricky strategy stuff. So in a chat, click the tools icon, the sliders and the plus near the message box, then turn on extended thinking. Ask your hard question, and you'll see it reason before it answers. And for instance, after it has all your data, you could ask it this. Think this through carefully before you answer. Should I raise my prices, and by how much? Now, a pro tip here is to tell it to interview you and ask you for data and information until it has enough data and information to give you a really good answer. I almost always do this, especially with difficult problems. Now, the next hack is a little bit different, and that's research mode. And this is like your personal analyst. So this one's like having a research analyst on call. You give it a topic, and it runs a whole batch of searches, checks them, and then writes you a real sourced report. So work that used to eat a whole afternoon of tabs and Googling now happens while you grab a coffee. So in a chat, click the tools icon near the message box, select research or deep research, and then type your topic and send. It works for a few minutes and then returns a sourced report. So do deep research on the best email platforms for a small creator business with a one-page recommendations list and sources. Just give it to the research tool instead and then walk away. All right, tier 4 is all about connecting it to everything. So hack 14 is when we're gonna plug in Claude into the rest of your life. So connectors let it talk to your other apps like email, files, calendar, and more. And there's a technical name for it, but all you need to know is this. Claude becomes the hub and everything else plugs in. So in order to activate this, click the name initials on the bottom left, then settings, then open the connectors tab, and you'll see everything that you can plug in like Google Drive, Gmail, Calendar, Canva, and more. So Claude can almost act like your own personal executive assistant in this case. And then you connect one app that you live in, your email or your calendar, and you'll immediately get why this matters so much. Speaking of that, this is especially useful if you make content. And that's hack number 15, which is to connect your Google Drive, and then Claude can reach right into your files, no more digging through folders. So this is especially useful for making content. For instance, you could say, hey, who is that testimonial that we got around 8 months ago in the real estate niche, for instance. But yeah, the way to activate this is to go to settings, then connectors, then find Google Drive and click connect. Then sign into Google and approve access. And then back in a chat, open the tools menu and make sure Drive is on and then test it out. Okay, hack 16 is the same thing, but with Gmail. So Gmail and Claude can read and summarize your inbox for you. And you can stay completely out of your inbox and still never miss anything that matters. So this is something that as a CEO, I spent years wasting probably thousands of hours just reading way too many emails. And you don't want to do that, right? So go to settings, then connectors, then find Gmail, then click connect and approve access. In a chat, open the tools menu and switch Gmail on, and then ask for what you want. And then a prompt here that you could check out is summarize my unread emails from this morning and tell me which ones actually need a reply. So again, this is exactly what an executive assistant would do, but you don't have to pay $5,000 to $10,000 a month to get this. All right, hack number 17 is Google Calendar. And this of course is when you connect your Google Calendar and Claude can read your schedule and tell you where your actual time went. So again, this is something that your EA could do too. And spoiler here, it's usually not where you think. So a prompt to type here would be, look at my calendar for the last 2 weeks and tell me where most of my time went. So I did this and I found that I was spending way too much time, especially in the mornings when I get my best work done, responding to messages on Slack. And so I changed my behavior to where I typically don't check Slack until later on in the day. And if there's any emergency that my team really needs me for, well, they can just call me. And there's usually no emergency that they actually need you for. And typically they'll just figure the problems out on their own. So the way to activate this is to go to settings, then connectors, then find Google Calendar and click connect and then approve. In a chat, switch calendar on in the tools menu and then ask away. And then hack 18 is to connect Canva and Claude to spin up designs and full presentations straight from a prompt. So this one is insanely useful. So Canva is one of my other favorite companies. I think Canva is a phenomenal company and they actually partnered with Claude. And so basically you could say something like, make me a clean 5-slide deck introducing my new service with a title slide and a pricing slide. And this is our new service. It's basically a build and release offer where we just hire people for YouTube channels. We basically hire someone who's like a super video editor. We call them a creative director, and they can do everything for a person's YouTube channel. Then we train them on our systems, install them into somebody's business, and they've got a fully functioning system with a very competent operator to blow up their YouTube channel. Pretty epic. All right, this brings us to tier 5, which is just letting it do the work for you. And this brings me to possibly one of my absolute favorite Claude features, which is skills. And these are basically like reusable playbooks. So you basically teach Claude a process that you do over and over again the same way, then you trigger the whole thing with a couple of words. So instead of re-explaining your process every single time, you build it once and it runs forever. Now you can use skills in the normal chat, you can use it in projects, you can use it in Claude Cowork, and you can use it in Claude Code. So one skill that we built, for instance, for ourselves and our clients is the ability for Claude to literally read videos, like actually understand the visuals on videos. And so it basically takes a screenshot every few seconds, it matches that up with a time-stamped transcript, and it reads the videos and tells you exactly why a video did well or didn't do well. Now this is a skill that took us a few hours to make it first, but now we can do this in a matter of seconds. And this particular one works better with Claude Code. But we've created dozens and dozens of different skills that we use in our own internal team, and we give them to our community members as well. There's skills that help people find video ideas, there's skills that help people find their niche, there's skills that help people monetize their YouTube channels, there's skills that help people make sure that they have the right settings, because a lot of people mess up their YouTube settings, and that's what's stopping them from getting success. There's skills that help them pick video ideas, write intros, make thumbnails, make titles, write the entire script, give video editing directions, etc., etc. So yeah, skills are insanely useful. Now, like I said, we are giving away our own internal Claude skill that helps people to pick their niche. And you can get that if you show up to the live training. So check that out by clicking the link in the description in the pinned comment below. And we're going to give you an opportunity to get a bunch of the other skills that we made as well in the live training too. So here's how to do this. Open the settings and then find capabilities or skills. Then click create skill, give it a name, and write out your step-by-step process for the task. Then save it and then trigger it inside any chat when you need it. And then confirm the exact skills location live. All right, hack number 20 is Claude in your browser. And this is where it starts to feel like the future. Claude can work right inside of your web browser as an agent. It moves around websites, it fills out forms, and it runs tasks for you, all while you just watch. And this is the moment that it clicks. You stop doing the clicking yourself and you start directing. Now, there's a small side effect here of you just fascinatingly watching your screen while it goes and does stuff, which is kind of a waste of time. So don't do that. I mean, do it at first just because it's pretty cool, but don't do that all the time. But I've done this many times, for instance, to scrape data. For instance, if I'm making a video on something, I might have it go search Reddit or Twitter. It'd scrape the data from there and then present that data to me in a report so that I can provide the best possible information for people who watch my channel. But here's how to do this one. Install Claude for Chrome. This is an extension from the Chrome Web Store, and then just go ahead and pin it. Then sign in, then click the extension on the website that you want to work on and type the task in the side panel and then let it go. And then approve the steps whenever it asks. All right, hack 21 is going to be Claude Cowork. And this is a big one. There's a desktop app called Cowork where you point Claude at a folder and you hand it a multi-step job. And it can really do a lot. It's incredibly powerful. So for instance, it can read your files, it can edit them, it can create new ones, it can organize your desktop, and it can work through the whole thing on its own. So just to be very clear, this is actually on your computer itself. This is not in a browser, it's on your computer. So for instance, a really easy thing to do just to test this out is to tell Cowork to organize your desktop. And believe it or not, it will do a really good job doing this. Now, on the Cowork app, you might notice at the top, there are some tabs and you can actually tab over to something called Claude Code. Now, don't be scared here because yes, it's called Claude Code, but it's actually very easy to use. Now, you can use it right in the Claude app, or you can use it on a terminal on your computer. For beginners, I would definitely recommend just using it in the Claude app. If you want to use it on a terminal, I like using the app Ghosty for it because you can have many of them open at once. But for most people, just use it right in the app. Now, Claude Code is one of the most powerful tools ever invented. I mean, it is unbelievable what one person can do with Claude Code. And that would take an entire video for me to really get deep into that. But like I said before, I can literally tell Claude Code to watch YouTube videos, take screenshots every few seconds, and then tell me visually why the YouTube video did so well. It can break down every single part of the YouTube video and tell me exactly why it did well. And that is incredible. But this brings me to hack number 22. And this is where you need to zoom out for a second because this is the whole point, right? You need to stop being the person who does every little task and become the person who decides what gets done. You need to be an orchestrator, right? You need to be a director, not a doer. And that guy who built a company to hundreds of millions with a team of 2, He directed it and the AI did it. Now, not to get too deep into this, I'll probably make another video on this one, but one of the coolest parts about Claude Code is essentially what's known as Karpathy's auto research. This is where you have agents and you give them all a goal, and then you have them automatically research it over and over again, and they go in this loop until they get closer and closer to meeting that goal. And this is unbelievably powerful, and there's so many things you can do with this, but that is a topic for another video. With that being said, you can easily just schedule it and then walk away. You can even use its agentic functions and just have it do stuff in the background, whether or not you tell it to or not. So it's pretty epic. So for instance, we have agents that stay up to date on whatever is happening in our niche. So we always know the videos that are popping off. We always know the newest trends. We always know what keywords people are excited about or what news people are excited about, et cetera, et cetera. And all of this happens automatically without us even having to query it. Now, that is pretty advanced, but if you want me to make a video on it, I definitely can. With that being said, if you are interested in figuring out your niche and creating a personal brand and using Claude to do this in just a couple hours a week, just like my brother Zach did, who's in his 50s, who isn't tech savvy, and who'd never made a video before in his life, and he went from 0 to a full-time income while only having to work about 4 hours a week in less than a month, right? His very first video popped off and he went from 0 to full-time income in less than a month. You wanna know exactly how to do that? Go ahead and attend the live training this week. Click that link in the description in the pinned comment below, and you'll be getting the niche validator too that'll help you pick the right niche for you. And by the way, YouTube is the mother platform, but you can syndicate the content to all the other platforms, including LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is super useful for networking and getting the best jobs. So yeah, definitely check that out. Additionally, I know that 99% of people watching this are never gonna work with us one-on-one, but for the very rare 0.1% or 1% of you out there that want to work directly with us one-on-one for us to help you grow your personal brand, or you want us to literally just do the work for you. We literally just do all of the work for you growing your personal brand. All you have to do is record. Then go ahead and book a call with us by clicking that link in the description in the pinned comment below. Typical types of people we work with are going to be business owners, both physical business owners as well as online. But typically the types of business owners we work with are the types of people who get clients. We also work with YouTubers who are getting a lot of views, but they're struggling with monetization. We work with YouTubers who are crushing it, but they want to crush it even harder. We work with experts, and we work with professionals, people who are a little bit further on in their career, and they really want to grow their personal brand either to get a better job, network, become an authority in whatever their niche is or their vertical or their industry, or start a side hustle and start a business. But all those people have one thing in common, and that is they want to treat YouTube like a business, right? They want to treat it seriously. They want to treat their personal brand and YouTube like a business. So if that sounds like you, go ahead and click that link in the description in the pinned comment below. We accept less than 18% of people who apply to work with us, but we are taking on about 5 people right now. And also check out this video right here on exactly how we helped my brother, who was very busy, grow a full-time side hustle and business on the side in less than 4 hours a week, and also in less than 1 month.